Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. We'll be right back to the show. But before we do, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, factormeals.com, where if you go to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50, you can get 50% off your first order. That's factormeals.com/unbroken50. If you're like me and you are a person who is busy trying to create a life, heal, work on their health, wealth, and relationships, and not to mention deal with the day-to-days of normal life, you do not have time to be going to the grocery store and trying to figure out what you're going to cook every single day of the week. In fact, one time I did the math and I realized I was spending over 15 hours a week at the grocery store and cooking. When I added Factor, I got to use that time for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my community, and for my business. And so if you're in the place where you need some more support in the kitchen, head to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50 to get 50% off. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. One of the things that for me in my journey I've found, and this is kind of the direction I want to step into, is having to face the reality that intimacy only comes through ultimately letting your guard down, the willingness to let people in, the understanding that the truth that
realistically, most people are not out to get you. And so
Mhm.
I'm really curious about not only in your journey, but in a practical sense, how can folks step into that place of being open to intimacy?
All intimacy starts with self-love, and this is the stepping stone. And it sounds like a cliche, I get. You got to love yourself to love other people. And for years, I thought that was a total cliche. But the truth is, you need to learn to love yourself. And that means overcoming your childhood traumas, your personal history. If you've been through abuse or loss, it could be being betrayed as an adult. All these things in life are setting you up to make decisions. You come to a crossroads in life that no matter how many bad things happen to you, you have to make a fundamental choice if you're going to go left or right. Are you going to love yourself or you're not going to love yourself? Now, part of that is a choice. When I was in Tibet, a Lama said to me, and I thought it was profound. He said to me, "You are what you choose to become." And I was like, what about my past, my parents, the things I went through, the loss of my mother, being betrayed and PTSD? And he said, at some point, you have to choose what you want to become. And that was profound to me, right? So self love is partly a choice. It's partly, as you said earlier, which I thought was beautiful, is looking at yourself in the mirror and accepting who you are. Now, I think that the foundation stone of self love is self acceptance, right? And that's a choice you have to make, because if you don't accept yourself, it doesn't matter who you're with, and no matter what they say to you, how much they love you, you will still not accept yourself. You've got to start with yourself. So self acceptance, and I read this in the first book, I Am, which is still the best selling book of all my 12 books. It's amazing. I said that if you imagine that you're a flower and there are thousands of different flowers, you accept that flower as it is. So let's just say, hypothetically, like, I don't know, I'm a chrysanthemum and you're a rose, right? Now, they're totally different flowers. So I don't want to compare myself to you and say, wow, look at the colors you have and look at the way you're growing and all these different things. I'm going to say, I'm the chrysanthemum. I'm going to accept myself as I am, and you accept who you are. So I'm not going to compare and contrast to other flowers. I'm just going to accept myself completely. And accepting yourself means that there's full ownership of who you are. And this is something, again, that I was taught um, by a shaman about total ownership. You see, when we have trauma in life, we often become a victim, which is natural and expected. And it should be like that for a while. You feel, poor me, I need help, I need support, I need a therapist, I need friends, whatever. But at some point in life, you can't stay a victim. You have to practice ownership. And ownership to me is more than self-responsibility. It's owning every bit of who you are. In other words, you look in the mirror, not just owning your physical attributes, your race, your color, your gender, your sexual orientation. It's owning your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, owning the person looking out through these eyes. Because you're not just your body, you're an inner person inside, which is beautiful and special and has never been damaged. So this acceptance is the absolute acceptance of who you are. And no more compare, contrast. Stay away from magazines and social media if you have to. There's so much in this world that's trying to tell us to be something else. You should be an action hero. You need to have rippling muscles. If you're a woman, you have to have sexy curves. It's always more and more and more and more. And those things don't help us. There's so many things I'd like to say here. One of the most profound things I was taught by a Tantra master is that you are not your body. And I know some of you might think, wow, that's a bit esoteric for me and so on. But I'd like you to think about this. When you see a car driving by, there's somebody driving that car. And what's more important, the car or the driver? So if you imagine that your body is like a car that you have, and you have one car for this entire journey of life. Now the car comes in different brands, sizes, models, shapes, colors, and it's okay. There's thousands of different kind of cars. When we meet someone, we shouldn't care what the car looks like. We care about who's driving the car, right? So when I'm meeting somebody, I don't care about your race, your sexual orientation, your gender, ethnicity. All those things are nonsense and meaningless. I'm interested in who you are driving the car. Who are you as a person? What are your, as you said earlier, which I loved, what are your core values? Because your core values define who you are and they define how you interact with other people. And when you have what I call healthy core values, you're on the road to self-acceptance and self-love.
Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? Just want to take a moment and invite you to be my guest at Think Unbroken Conference this November. That's right. Think Unbroken is hosting our Unbroken Con for free. It's 5 days of trauma transformation information with myself, special guests, and even some of the leading experts in trauma education from around the world. For 5 days, we're going to jump into what it means to actually take the steps to be unbroken. All you have to do is register for free at unbrokencon.com. That's unbrokencon.com. That's right. 5 days of trauma transformation information with me, special guests, and some of the world's leading trauma trained experts for free for 5 days this November. More details to come. But in the meantime, go to unbrokencon.com to register, and I'll see you there. I want to talk about this moment because I think it's important, because often, and I say this about many things in life, the signs are there. It's there. That thing that you've wanted, that thing you're longing for, the thing you desire, it's there, but you're not open to it because you've already made a decision that you can't have it, right? What was this moment like for you where you made, now there's a choice being made, right, Dan, where you go, okay, oh, I have this new understanding. I'm going to move towards it in this way as opposed to what I was doing. What was that like to develop that understanding within yourself?
For me, it was just a shift in the intention, because I was still intentional in going down into the shadows, but we just shifted that intention to, oh, well, I'm still going to continue this journey of learning. I'm still going to continue this journey of being deliberate. I'm still going to continue this journey of creating. And the great thing is that I saw that it wasn't big shifts in what had gone wrong before. It was a simple matter of, for example, gratitude moving beforehand, understanding that I'm human and that I'm fallible and I'm going to make mistakes. And there was some tears, but mostly it was really just coming to love myself enough to let myself get away with the shortfalls in myself and being human. And that's what it really was. It was really about coming back to self and loving myself enough to be okay with the fact that, yeah, I've made some mistakes. Yeah, it hadn't all been rosy and lovely, but I get to have another chance.
Yeah, I think about this often, this place in which shame and guilt and self-sabotage exist. I know that's a part of it for you. I'm going to name it, even though you're not, because I recognize it.
Oh, shame is insidious and definitely a part of it too.
What is that journey like, right? From this place in which it's something that consumes you to which something that you understand and move through? Because I recognize shame, man, it consumes everything when it has hold of you.
So the first step in my model beyond intention is accept. And accept really is about stepping into the fullness of our knowing that we're the author and creator of our life. And one of the reasons why I really love the work that people are doing out in the world with shame, one of my friends, Anne Hastings, has got a great book on it, is because shame is one of those insidious things that robs us of the ability to step into it, because we're giving our power away to these illusionary shadows. For me, it was recognizing that, I don't know if you've ever seen the meme. There's this meme. It's like, Lord, save me from my haters. And then there's the God saying, dude, nobody's thinking about you. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen that word, but it's like, that really hit home for me, because there's an aspect of self-importance. And I don't want to crap on anyone listening in on this, but there's an aspect of like an elevated self-importance that comes from the idea of shame. Other people care about me so much that I'm actually going to take their opinions that often aren't even voiced, project them onto myself, beat myself down on the back of that, and don't allow myself to love myself as a result.
Yeah.
And loving myself, I mean, I love that love. It's been scientifically demonstrated that the actual experience of love changes the brain frequencies to be more coherent. And when we look at the science of coherence and incoherence, when you introduce a coherent frequency into an incoherent space, it has to change. It's been scientifically demonstrated. So learning to love myself, when I had the awareness of what I was allowing shame to do to me, actually did a lot of the heavy lifting of transmuting that space of shame and guilt and giving me the breathing space to make that new choice of life.
Hey, Unbroken Nation, we'll be right back to the show. But I wanted to let you know that you can grab a copy of my first book, Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma, for free. If you go to book.thinkunbroken.com, you can download the PDF ebook version of the book and get everything that I know about the baseline of healing trauma for free, downloaded to your email right now. Just go to book.thinkunbroken.com to download your copy of Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma for a PDF for your phone. Again, that is book.thinkunbroken.com. So one of the things I think is really fascinating in the dichotomy of relationships is when you have these polar opposites, sometimes you have this narrative that begins to play out where suddenly one person wants the other person to kind of come on board to their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Is that a control thing? Is that this is a comfort thing? Where does that aspect come from? Because I've seen it just as some people want more control, some people want more freedom, and then there's this ebb and flow of can I bring you to my side?
Yeah. And look, and welcome to the human race, right? We're not trained in relationships, right? We're not trained in that stuff at all. When we get a few years under our belt, we kind of work out, I understand where my first 7 marriages went, right? I say that with a smile on my face, right? But understand where I went wrong. We're kind of trained to grow up, and the quarterback marries the cheerleader, and all of that type of things. And so where this kind of comes to, if we can value differences. So if we can kind of go, and let's say I'm the freedom person in a relationship, and if I can kind of go, I really value how when we go away on a holiday, how when either you open your bag or I open my bag, there's everything in order. I can absolutely see how everything's in order. I really kind of value that, and that really helps us as a couple. So what I've now done, this is not about you need to dial down on the perfectionistic, get it right stuff all the time, and you need to come across to my side. This is not the moment that happens. There's either a blip in the relationship, or the moment the cement sets around that, Michael, I can tell you where the relationship's headed. We're heading for divorce, and we're cutting up the dog. There's your half of the dog, there's my half. That never goes well. So when it becomes about you need to come to mine or I need to go to yours, I can tell you long term that's not going to, the relationship is the beginning of the end. Now, if it's a little blip, there's nothing kind of wrong with that. But the moment it sets, it's a problem. What we're actually meant to do, we're almost meant to create a co-created space where at least 51% of the time I'm actually contributing to that. I'm contributing to our relationship. It's not about you need to be more like me. And by the way, that'd probably make me feel comfortable, but I'd get pretty bored with that, by the way. Or I need to be more like you, which means I need to give myself away. And at some point I'm going to get resentful and run off and find the next door neighbor a bit attractive and go and refine myself. I see it all the time in careers where people get into a job, they want to prove themselves, they overwork themselves, they take on too much, they lose themselves within a role, they lose their anchor and their identity, then all of a sudden they need to resign to actually go and find themselves again and start the whole process again. We see that in personal relationships the whole time. So no one wants to not be themselves. There's no doubt about that. But it's this bit about this co-created space, about understanding the differences and actually contributing to something greater than ourselves.
Where do you find the balance? And it's funny because we're coming back to this. Where do you find the balance of A, taking care of yourself versus B, and the other side of it, really trying to focus on understanding your partner?
Look, that is such a great question, and that is create and adjust every day. That is create and adjust every day. There's almost and so there's got to be a balance, for each individual, and there's got to be a balance for a couple. And again, it's not the stuff that we kind of talk about. It's not the stuff that we tend to get into a relationship and basically say, look, I really like my time alone, and my time alone looks like, going for long walks by myself on every Saturday afternoon. How does that fit with you? How would that work for us? So this is a negotiated process. This is a transparent process. And I think that, really good long-term relationships, we get to learn about ourselves and we get to learn about another individual. And the challenge is actually, how do we keep having these really important discussions about Are you feeling valued? Are you getting your needs met? That's for each person in the relationship. But also, how are we going as a couple? You know, how are we getting that balance right? Am I listening too much? Am I talking not enough? Am I too unplanned? Are we, counting too many socks on Thursday morning? I think it's those discussions that we need to become a lot more sophisticated about. And I know that sounds really simple and kind of, come on, Warren, there's got to, give me something a bit more headline and a bit more smashing than that, right? But I think that's the practicalities of any great friendship, personal relationship, business relationship that really goes around calibrating around who we are and what we're trying to do.
I think the harder thing about it is, and what you understand and what I believe that I understand, is living life on your terms. How do you really like step into this idea? Like, you can live life on your terms. You can have the life you want to have, the family you want to have, the career you want to have. When over here on the other side of the room, everybody's telling you, you better get in the box and do what the hell we tell you to do, and raise your hand if you need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. We got to get in the box. One of the things I say is, don't just think outside the box, create your own. So I think everyone has a story and everyone has a gift. And the quicker we can become owners of our life, take responsible of our life, our future. It's not a blame game. It's not someone else's responsibility. It's our responsibility. So this whole idea of thinking outside the box and creating your own, it is really about, what does somebody want in their life? And what I may want may not be the same as you, and it may not be the same as someone else, and that's okay. But it goes back to really an understanding of redefining success and normal. So the whole reason why I came out with this stuff is really to challenge the status quo. It's to make folks look from a different lens on, is this a life I want, or am I living someone else's life? Not only that, we can go deeper and say, is this someone else's painted picture of what success means? So each person's life is different. Not everyone's a parent. I get that. But what is it in their life? What is in your life that you want? And if we can work backwards from getting the finances taken care of, then we can begin to have different options about how do we design this. Maybe for some folks, it's being a digital nomad. There's a lot of folks in my space that they take pride in going country to country just using a laptop and a cell phone to make money. Someone like myself that has kids, it's not as easy, but that flexibility and option is there, but it also comes with a lot of stress potentially. So there's always going to be ups and downs and pros and cons. But at the end of the day, I think if we're able to control the things that we can control and realize that it will come with some stress and some pressure, then we can begin to start designing from a different standpoint. One of the things you mentioned was people are telling you don't do this and stay in this box. I think once you start talking to other people who believe what you believe and think like you think, you're talking to a different crowd of people. But I agree, there's a lot of people who are telling you don't do it. It's stupid. It's a waste of your time. You're going to fail. But there's also the people like me. There's the people like Michael who are telling you it's possible. They're telling you, what if you took that first step and you did come on the other side? And we need more of encouragement, not discouragement. There's enough people out there telling you what's not going to work. There's enough people out there telling you don't do it. But there's not everyone that you're going to meet every single day that's going to tell you that you can do it, it's possible, and for you to go take that first step. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation about it, because everyone, regardless of where you come from, regardless of your background, regardless of the mistakes you made or the success you've had, you have a story and you have something special. It's your job to get that out to the world. It's your job to share that and maybe help somebody else.
We'll be right back to the show, my friend, but I wanted to let you know about our brand new podcast community for Think Unbroken podcast. I know that for so many trauma survivors like myself, for the longest time, I felt alone, like nobody got it, nobody understood, and that I was just going to have to figure this out on my own. But that's not true. And the reason why we created our brand new Think Unbroken Academy podcast community is so that we can bring all the members of the Unbroken Nation together in a place where we can learn, grow, heal, change, and transform our trauma into triumph. I would love to have you come and be a part of the brand new community. Just check out thinkunbrokenacademy.com or click the link in the podcast description, and I cannot wait to see you there, my friend. Again, just head over to thinkunbrokenacademy.com, and until then, be unbroken. Thank you so much for listening to Think Unbroken. Please share this episode with someone who could use it and help us move forward in our mission of ending generational trauma in our lifetime. And if you would, please take 5 seconds to pop on iTunes or Spotify, hit that 5-star, leave a review, and you can also reach out to us on social at Michael Unbroken or at Think Unbroken. And of course, you can check out our YouTube channel at Think Unbroken. Thank you for being a part of Unbroken Nation, my friends, and until next time, be unbroken. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program.